It's your favorite dietitian, a long time no see. I thought since I did 10 things I don't do as a dietitian, I should also do 10 things I do. Now, one thing I think is important to say before you watch this video, just because I am a dietitian, I'm not your dietitian. I don't know you and your specific situation, your specific nutrient needs, your specific medical history, your dietary history. Just because I do these things doesn't mean that you need to do these things. Hopefully this video will give you some insight and education and a little bit of fun. But without further ado, let's get into it. Number one, I eat carbs, lots of carbs. We love carbs here.
But Tika, aren't carbs bad for you? They cause weight gain and insulin resistance.
Just because some people, like those with type 2 diabetes, might do better on lower carb diets, that doesn't mean that carbs are bad for us, and that doesn't mean that we should completely avoid carbs. And I made I think 2 videos on carbohydrates and why they are not actually bad for us, despite what we are being fed on in the media. We don't eat any carbs, then we're seriously limiting our fiber. We're actually, if we eat 0 carbs, we're getting 0 fiber, because fiber is a type of carb. And this is why I say quality is important here. There are complex carbs and there are simple carbs, and it's so much better for you, your health, your gut microbiome to have more complex carbs and have less simple carbs. Obviously, we don't want to overconsume things like sugar and honey and agave, and yes, all of these things are processed in our body the same way, but it is good to have complex carbs like fruits and vegetables and whole grains that have lots of fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. And I go into detail about why antioxidants are so important and where to get them in your diet in this video here. Most of us are not eating enough fiber, and I always talk about all of the benefits of fiber, such as supporting a healthy immune system, a healthy gut bacteria, a healthy digestive system. Fiber also helps lower your blood sugar and lower your cholesterol. It binds to glucose and it binds to LDL cholesterol and helps excrete it. And all of the fiber that we eat actually gets excreted in our poo, because there's this huge myth about detox. The only thing you really need to detox your body is drink enough water, eat enough fiber, exercise, and breathe, so that you're breathing in oxygen, you're breathing out carbon dioxide. All of these things that we do naturally detoxes us. And eating fiber is one of those important things that helps detoxify our bodies. So we don't need to go on any cleanses or ridiculous diets, but one thing that is for sure is that we need to make sure that we're getting enough fiber. Number 2, I move my body every single day and try to get at least 10,000 steps a day to increase my non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT. Not only does this help me focus more and it gets the blood flowing to my brain so I can think better, but it also really improves my mood and my long-term health.
And research backs this up. Research has shown that higher levels of NEAT means less risk of metabolic syndrome, cardiovascular disease, and death from all causes. Multiple research studies have shown that getting formal exercise didn't counteract the negative health effects of sitting all day. For example, this study took people and made them get less than 4,000 steps per day for 4 days, and then they did intense activity, and they didn't experience the normal health benefits of that physical activity that would normally show up, like improved blood sugar, improved insulin, and all of that. All of this research just really shows the importance of increasing your NEAT, like getting 10,000 steps in the day, the importance of moving, even if it's non-formal exercise. I think we just really underestimate the importance of doing this, which is why it's one of the things I teach my clients.
Sometimes you will find me just walking up and down in my apartment trying to get some extra steps while I'm brushing my teeth.
And all of this counts towards actual exercise in the day. Number 3, I'm always trying to find unique ways to add more vegetables and fruit into my meals and into my day. Every time I sit down and eat a meal, I ask myself, do I have a vegetable in here? At least one. And do I have a variety of different colors of vegetables? Because, as I mentioned in the antioxidant video that I have, it's really important to get a variety of colors of vegetables and not always eat the same vegetable every single day all the time, because you want to make sure you're getting a variety of nutrients and in different amounts. And if I'm eating a meal and it doesn't have any vegetables in it, I ask myself, how can I add some vegetables either in this or on the side, or just make sure that my next meal has extra vegetables, and then I'm focusing on vegetables more for the rest of the day if I wasn't able to have it in the front of the day. And I find myself really cooking unique things because I get bored of eating the same thing every day. I really like to switch it up. And I don't think I have to sit here and list all the research on the importance of eating vegetables. Actually, maybe I should.
This is from harvard.edu, really concisely explaining a lot of the research that's been done on consuming more fruits and vegetables and how that lowers our risk of heart disease and stroke. Then they explain how these other studies showed that those that ate more fruits and vegetables or that followed a vegetarian diet had lower blood pressure, which really makes sense when you think about it because fruits and vegetables have a lot of potassium in them, and potassium lowers our blood pressure because it excretes sodium.
The more potassium you eat, the more sodium you excrete.
Research also shows that certain fruits and vegetables, because of their antioxidant content, can prevent against certain types of cancers. For example, lycopene is found in red fruits and vegetables like tomatoes, apples, beets, watermelon, red cabbage, which may protect against prostate cancer. It also seems that those that consume more berries and green leafy vegetables may have a reduced risk of type 2 diabetes. It also may not surprise you that research shows that having more fruits and vegetables in your diet makes it easier to lose weight because having these high volume, low calorie foods just makes weight loss a lot easier. But a mistake I see a lot of my clients make is that they eat lots of low calorie foods to the point where they're just not eating enough calories. So check out this video and this playlist for more sustainable weight loss tips. And I just have to mention this because this is so cool. And when I learned this in school, I just completely nerded out that there are some vegetables and fruits that can protect against cataracts and macular degeneration. Literally can protect against vision problems. And these green fruits and vegetables are things like broccoli, kiwi, kale, spinach, because what gives them the green color are antioxidants called lutein and zeaxanthin. And this is just another way that eating fruits and vegetables really keep us healthy. You know, there's a lot of misinformation, especially about nutrition these days on the internet. And I want you guys to know this is all from a credible source and you can trust this information and all the information on my channel because it will always be evidence-based.
Number 4, if you came to my apartment and looked in my refrigerator or you looked in my pantry, yeah, you would see a lot of nutritious foods there, but you would also see some fun foods. That is because I always have some kind of fun foods or desserts in my apartment at all times. There's something about eating one Oreo so mindfully in the present moment. You know, just take the time to smell it and just enjoy the flavors.
Wow. I like to use the word fun rather than junk because it has a better connotation to it, while still implying this should be something that we should have in moderation.
But that's because I believe in flexible and sustainable eating, not in being perfect. I think if we try to aim for perfection, it's setting ourselves up for failure and disappointment, and it's just not good mentally, which is so much better than the alternative of feeling like you can never have those foods and then eventually binging on them, because how long can you really keep that up, and then feeling guilty, obsessive over that food, restricting it, and then binging again. It's called a binge restrict cycle. And in almost every single one of my clients that I've ever worked with, I've seen them all go through this. I do try to keep those fun foods out of sight, so I don't put like Oreos in a clear container. It's tucked away in my pantry, so I'm not always thinking about it. I'm not always looking at it, but if I ever do crave it, I can have some in moderation. Number 5, almost every day I take a B12, a vitamin D, an algal oil, and sometimes a multivitamin.
So there's a reason that I take these specific vitamins. Vitamin D, as you can see on my list here, a lot of us are deficient in vitamin D. I did get my vitamin D levels checked out and it was on the lower end of normal. So I take about 1,000 IUs just to keep my levels consistent. And vitamin D is really important in our immune system. I actually made a whole video about it up here that you can check out. And along with our bone health, we often associate calcium with our bone health, but calcium isn't really able to do its job without vitamin D. And B12, since I don't eat animals or animal products, B12 is only found in animals and animal products, which is why it's important to take it, because a deficiency can lead to irreversible nerve damage. It's also really important to maintain the health of our red blood cells and maintain the health of our central nervous system. And I take this omega-3 supplement because, again, I don't eat a lot of foods that contain omega-3s. And this one is not from fish, it's actually from algal oil. So it's just a more sustainable source of omega-3s. And that is really important for our brain health and our immune system as well. And then I also sometimes take this multivitamin. It's a women's plus, 50 plus. Obviously, I'm not 50, but I like it because I only take about 1 to 2 capsules a day. And I'm not getting like an overload of all of these vitamins and minerals, because some multivitamins can just be a little bit too much. There you go. You might be able to see it better. And with this,
I'm not getting like an overload because I'm already taking vitamin D, so I don't need that much extra vitamin D. And I prefer to get my vitamin C from food because too much vitamin C in supplement form can lead to kidney stones. And then, for example, too much zinc or too much iron can inhibit the absorption of other vitamins and minerals. So a lot of the other vitamins and minerals I prefer to get from food, but for me, it's important to at least take these.
Number 5, I drink 1 cup of coffee every single day. Now, despite what you might hear on the internet, coffee is not this terrible thing for you. There is a maximum limit where we definitely don't want to exceed 400 milligrams because that can cause heart problems and health issues. For me, I try to limit my caffeine because I am a little bit sensitive to caffeine, but also because the half-life of caffeine can be up to 8 hours, which means that if you have 100 milligrams of caffeine at 10 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, 50 milligrams of it could still be in your system. And even though some people claim that, well, they can have coffee right before bed and it doesn't interfere with their sleep and they sleep like a baby and it's totally fine, yeah, sure, you might be able to fall asleep, but the quality of sleep that you're getting is going to be altered because caffeine can inhibit your sleep cycles. Because we go into these sleep cycles, it can inhibit our REM sleep, and we're not really getting quality sleep. And did you know that going properly through all the sleep cycles is really important for weight loss and muscle building? And if you want to hear more about the research on this in a separate video, let me know in the comments. And speaking of sleep and all of the benefits of sleep, number 8 is that
Number 7.
Number 7 is that I prioritize 8 hours of sleep every single night as much as I possibly can. Sometimes it's not always possible for me, but this is something I always keep in the back of my mind as a priority when it comes to my health because I know that there are so many benefits of getting more sleep.
Did you know there's even a link between sleep and our immune system? There have been some studies to show that vaccines are more effective after we get more sleep. Also, our muscles are repairing while we sleep. So if you're putting in hours at the gym and trying to build muscle, it's going to hinder your progress if you're not getting enough sleep. That's because when we go through certain cycles of sleep, some of those cycles are responsible for muscle repair.
Number 8, I always prioritize water over other beverages. Liquid calories are the first and the easiest thing to cut down or out if you're trying to get healthier because there's just a lot of sugar. It's a lot of empty calories that spikes your insulin, spikes your blood sugar, doesn't really provide any nutritional value at all. And cutting down on liquid calories is the first thing that you can do to see results if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to reduce your blood sugar or get healthier. But that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy some empty calories every now and then because like I said, it's not about being perfect, but there are some pretty fun low-calorie drinks that I have been enjoying lately, including this one.
I've been drinking this almost every single day, and I take some low sodium tahini, which tastes exactly the same as regular tahini, to be honest, a little bit of habanero maple syrup, and rim the glass with some lime and that concoction. Put that in the freezer, and while that's happening, I will muddle a jalapeno, some lime, and some blackberries. And I actually found this recipe on TikTok. I'll tag the original creator here, but I'm making some modifications to make it lower calorie and make it a mocktail. I know I really need to get a real strainer, but for now I'm just using a cheesecloth. And this is actually loaded with vitamin C and antioxidants from the fruit. Top it off with some LaCroix and garnish it, and it is absolutely delicious.
Number 9, and this is a controversial one, but I eat 99% vegan. I don't go out of my way to eat animal products, but sometimes it happens. And for me, that's okay. Now, I'm not vegan for health reasons at all because I don't believe that you have to be vegan to be healthy. You can eat meat and still be healthy.
The reason that I personally choose to eat vegan is mainly for the environment and for our poor little animals. I just feel like they're such pure innocent creatures and they do no wrong, and I just don't want to contribute to the animal industry.
But there has been some research out there to show that when we eat more plants and less animal products, we tend to have a lower risk of certain chronic diseases.
One of the reasons for this could be the fact that vegans and vegetarians tend to eat more fiber, which have a lot of metabolic benefits such as a healthier gut microbiome, healthier cholesterol levels, reduced risk of type 2 diabetes and stroke incidents. And there is some interesting research coming out on the effects of more plants on our brain health and our levels of inflammation. I know inflammation, it's such a buzzword these days. It's not what we think it is. I have a YouTube short on this if you want to check it out. But still lots of interesting research being done in this area.
So we don't have to go 100% fully vegan to be healthy, but I do think that a lot of us may need to take a close look at how much meat we're consuming, how many animal products we're consuming. Can we replace some of our animal foods with some plant-based proteins like beans and lentils and edamame and tofu and tempeh? And I actually made this handout for some of my clients who are interested in eating more plant-based or going vegan, but they're not really sure how to get enough protein. So I would highly recommend, if you want to go vegan, to talk to a dietitian, because protein is one nutrient of concern, but you can also easily become deficient in other vitamins and minerals if you're not closely paying attention to your diet and properly planning. Again, not saying that we need to completely cut out meat, but I am saying that we need to reduce it. And finally, if you made it this far, congratulations. I'm going to tell you a code word in a minute, but number 10 is, I really pay close attention to nutrition labels and ingredients. I think it's so important to know what we're putting in our body, and the things I pay attention to are saturated fat, fiber, added sugars, protein. And another thing I always pay attention to is the vitamins and minerals at the very bottom of the label, because we tend not to get enough of things like vitamin D and potassium. So anytime I see a high level of potassium or vitamin D or calcium on a nutrition label, that's a green flag for me. But I think that most of us are paying attention to the wrong things, thinking that organic is healthier, thinking that buying non-GMO is healthier, and we're paying attention to the wrong things, which is one reason I created my YouTube channel, to spread more awareness and information on actual evidence-based and credible nutrition education, because there's so much misinformation out there on the internet. Oh gosh, my AC just turned on, so you're gonna hear like a weird sound in the background now. But if you've made it this far, confuse everybody else by typing the code word elderberry in the comments. That is the code word for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, because that really helps my channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you can be notified whenever I post a video.
Actually, you won't be notified unless you ring the notification bell. You know
how we YouTubers, we always have to say these things at the end. Again, code word is elderberry. I am not changing it this time because I feel like this is gonna be a long video. You made it this far. I wanna see who actually did by letting me know what the code word is, confuse everyone else. Have a great day. Hope you enjoyed.